Cardano promised 1,000 transactions per second, but the code does not work. Developers stay silent, and creditors are furious. That line sounds like another cheap attack headline until you realize how long this promise has been echoing through the crypto world. Cardano was never marketed as fast hype or quick profit. It was marketed as careful, academic, peer-reviewed, built right the first time. And that is exactly why this moment feels so disturbing. For years, Cardano sold patience as a virtue. While other chains rushed features and broke under load, Cardano moved slowly, deliberately publishing papers, debating models, and promising that when it finally arrived it would work properly. You were told delays meant quality, silence meant discipline, and complexity meant safety. You accepted that trade because it felt mature. Then the promises met reality. 1,000 transactions per second was not just a number. It was a symbol, proof that Cardano could compete, that slow and steady would still win the race, that careful engineering would eventually unlock scale without chaos. But when pressure arrived, the system did not respond the way believers expected. Smart contracts launched, and almost immediately congestion appeared. Simple applications struggled. Transactions queued. Fees rose. Throughput failed to match expectations. The theoretical performance lived in papers while the practical performance lived somewhere else entirely. Developers felt it first. Teams building on Cardano discovered that writing code was not the hardest part. Getting that code to execute reliably at scale was. Tooling felt immature. Documentation lagged. Small mistakes caused large delays. And when things broke, answers were slow, sometimes non-existent. This is where silence becomes dangerous. In fast chains, silence is expected. Everything moves too quickly to explain. But Cardano built its identity on transparency and rigor. When developers ask why promised performance is not visible and hear nothing, frustration turns into distrust. Creditors feel it differently. They backed projects expecting a working platform. They financed development on assumptions about capacity and usability. When applications stall, capital gets trapped. Timelines break, and patience runs out. Money hates uncertainty even when it pretends to respect philosophy. The anger does not come from failure alone. It comes from mismatch. Cardano did not promise chaos. It promised certainty. And yet when users ask where the throughput is, they are told it is coming later. When they ask why scripts fail, they are told to wait for optimization. When they ask for clear timelines, answers dissolve into research language and roadmaps that stretch quietly forward. This creates a unique kind of disgust, not the loud rage of broken networks, the quiet resentment of feeling intellectually gaslit. You are not told it is broken. You are told you do not understand it yet. Cardano relies heavily on a future tense. Scaling will come. Improvements will arrive. Hydra will solve it. Optimization will unlock potential. Each explanation sounds reasonable in isolation. Together, they form a pattern. Performance always lives one update ahead. Meanwhile, competitors do not wait. Users do not wait. Capital does not wait. Chains with Messier engineering ship products that work now. They break sometimes. They patch quickly. They attract activity. Cardano watches this happen from the sidelines, insisting that correctness will eventually matter more than momentum. That belief may be true, but belief does not pay developers today. The deeper issue is not transactions per second. It is trust in process. Cardano asked its community to accept delays in exchange for certainty. When certainty fails to appear, delays become liabilities. The very thing that once differentiated Cardano now isolates it. Developers quietly leave. Not loudly. They do not rage on social media. They simply stop building. They move to ecosystems where feedback loops are faster and answers exist, even if imperfect. Creditors tighten terms. They demand clarity. They want to know when products can ship. And when answers remain vague, anger grows. This is the cost of selling rigor as a product. When you promise perfection, you lose the right to excuse imperfection. Cardano is not dead. Far from it. The codebase is alive. Research continues. Updates ship. But the emotional contract has been damaged. Expectations were set at a level that reality struggles to meet. And that is the final twist. Cardano may still deliver its vision. It may scale cleanly. It may prove that slow engineering wins in the end. But by the time it does, the ecosystem around it may already be gone. Promises do not expire quietly. They rot. And when a chain built on academic certainty starts sounding like every other roadmap-driven project, something fundamental breaks. Not the code, the trust. Cardano promised 1,000 transactions per second. What it delivered instead was a lesson the market keeps relearning. In crypto, silence is not patience. It is risk waiting to be priced in.